Okay, what I wanted to do with this video was do a quick review because it's been a couple weeks since you've been in school, and it's also been a week before that because before that was Regents. We didn't do a ton, and so I just want to make sure we know all this stuff. These are the things that were covered in section, I think 4.1 and 4.5. And so you should have your notes on that, and you could go back and watch the whole video, but my videos for it. But my hope is that this little review video will make sense. So what is a zero? Remember, a zero is where it crosses the x-axis. So graph crosses x-axis. Now, you could take notes on this stuff, but if you think that you remember it, there's no need to take notes. I'm sorry I did not include it in your packet. It was just something that I thought of that we need to do, and so I didn't have it prepared in time. So if I have a graph that looks like this, my zeros are here, here, and here, because that's where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, so multiplicity. Remember, multiplicity is if you have the same answer twice. Same answer multiple times. If something has multiplicity of 2, it's going to bounce off the graph. This right here, that's multiplicity 2 because it bounces off the graph. If you have something that does kind of a strange curve like this, oops, I kind of messed it up. Let's see. Curves here and does this. This little curve is actually multiplicity 3. Okay? The majority of the time, the ones you're going to see are multiplicity 2. Okay, so now let's look. There's 2 types of functions. It can be either odd or even. Odd functions have arrows that go both ways. So this, that's x to the 3rd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's x to the 5th. It's also an odd function based on the exponent being odd. An even function has arrows going both ways. Arrows same. So both going up. That's x squared. That's x to the 4th. And I'm hoping you remember how we find out how many humps it has by curves. The degree tells you how many ups and downs. So this one's x to the 5th. I'm going to trace it with this little pencil. So it goes up, that's 1. Down, that's 2. Back up, that's 3. Down, that's 4. Back up, that's 5. So that's why it's x to the 5th. On this one here, it goes down, that's 1. And back up, that's 2. So the degree tells you the number of directions. Okay? All right, then we also have positive and negative functions. A positive function is, for both positive and negative, you look at the right arrow. So the arrow on the right is positive. It's positive if the arrow on the right goes up. Here's an odd function. And again, it's the arrow on the right that you look for. So because both of those are going up, they both point up, it's positive. Okay? On negative functions, so if I have this going down, I look at the arrow on the right, and then here's another one that goes down. Again, I look at the arrow on the right, And since both those arrows on the right are going down, it's a negative function. Okay. So hopefully those are sparking some memories and you're remembering some stuff. The last thing that we have to do is talk about end behavior, and end behavior was kind of tricky. Remember that this thing right here, f of x, that's just y. It's just a fancy way to write y. Okay, so what we have to do is, I'm going to highlight this a different color. Ooh, let's do purple. Okay, so this right here, this is saying as x goes to the right. Because x goes to positive infinity, on the x-axis, positive numbers are on the right side. And then, let's go orange. And then this one, that one is saying x goes to negative infinity, and on the x-axis, negative numbers are on the left. So what you'll do is you're going to look at a graph and you're going to say, on the right, does it go up or down? And on the left, does it go up or down? So these blanks right here, if it goes up, it's positive infinity. If it goes down, it's negative infinity. Isn't that a cool marker? It changes colors. It's a rainbow. Okay, so let's try this information on 3 examples, and hopefully that will help you get kind of a review and reminder of some things. Okay, so right here, zeros. Remember, zeros are where it crosses the x-axis, and so it crosses here, here, and here. So that's -3, 0, and 2. Now, I can't tell, if you don't have the function, you can kind of see how many directions it goes. This goes up, that's 1, down, that's 2, up, that's 3. So 3 is an odd number, so it is an odd function. Positive or negative, remember you look at your arrow on the right, and I don't see an arrow, but that's kind of the right side, and it's going up, and so that means it's positive, because remember, since it's going up, up numbers are positive. Okay, so now we need to figure out our end behavior. So what did I do? I did purple and orange. So this first one is going to the right. So I look at the right side of my graph. On the right side of my graph, my line is going up. And so up is positive infinity. Okay, I need to make this a little smaller. Hold on a second. There we go. And then now, the next one I think I did was orange. And then here, that's the left. So I look at the left arrow, and the left arrow is going down, so that's negative infinity. Okay, let's look at this next one. So here's 1, 0 at -1. Here's another 0 at 3. Now if you notice, it bounces off that axis. It doesn't actually go through. So that has multiplicity of 2. And then right here, it crosses through at 5. Okay, you can't really see this, but this graph, because it kind of cut off, this graph is going up. And so they both face the same direction, so you should know it's even, but you can also count. So it goes down, that's 1 direction, up, that's 2, down, that's 3, and then up, that's 4. So that is an even function. Remember, to find out if it's positive or negative, we look at the right side, and the right side is going up, so this one is positive. Okay, and so now we need to look at our end behavior. Remember, this is on the right, so I look at the right side, and on the right side, that arrow is going up, so this one's positive infinity. And then I'm going to look at my next one, and it says x goes to negative infinity, which is the left, so I look at my left arrow. And that left arrow is also going up, so going up is positive infinity. Okay. All right, for number 3, we're going to sketch a rough graph of what this looks like. We get into more technical stuff in the next section or two, but we should be able to do some of this. We know that this one's at 4. We know that this one's at negative 3. We know that this one's at negative 2. And we know that this one's at 1. So those are our zeros. So negative 3, negative 2, 1, and 4. Now, you see how there's 4 answers? So it either is going to look like this, or it's going to look like this. Okay. The way that I do that and figure that out is I look right here. You see how this is negative? That tells me that this should be a negative function. I know that I'm not going to have any multiplicity because all the answers are different. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of graph it. Now again, oops, I messed up that part. I start at the bottom and I go up, then down, then up, then down. It has arrows going the same way, so it's even. I look on the right side, and my right side goes down, so it's a negative function. And now we need to look at our end behavior. Right here, this is on the right arrow, and the right arrow is pointing down. So this time, on the right, my function goes to negative infinity. And then the next one is on the left, and so my left arrow is also pointing down, so it is also negative infinity. So those are kind of the topics that we were working on before our big break. Hopefully this video is helpful. We will practice some this week with it, but I want to make sure that we had a good review before I ask you to do problems.